Hey everybody, so we're going to talk again another 30 Days of Galactics with Met Shep and the Collective of Watchers. But today we're not going to talk so much about Met Shep as we have done that the past few days. We're going to talk more about Winston and Whirlpool. Now, Winston is a vegan. He is from Vega. He is I don't know why they're telling me to say this, but and part of it's because it's my memory, but I feel like I need to say it. So if you've seen the video or the movie Contact with Jodie Foster, I believe they're trying to build the device to connect to Vega. And they want me to say that because that'll resonate with somebody for some reason. But he is from Vega. Vega Prime is what he called it. The planet that he called it. Some of the beings come through and they don't really, their names of their planets, they call them prime, they call them different numbers, letters, that sort of thing. So he called himself a technician working by a monitor and looking at me from a bird's eye view with a satellite. He was like monitoring the area at a convention that I was at, and that they were just saying hello and that I was a friend now. Winston has come through on multiple occasions. He gave me a letter that you can find in my book, The Journey of Spirit Art. He came through twice at the show, I believe, with two messages, one kind of describing his world, and it was a jungle world and how beautiful it was and lush and that sort of thing. And then he talked about one of the curious things that he had as a message was about museums. And I don't remember even why museums came up. It was an odd subject because I'm sitting at a UFO conference and he's talking about museums and how museums will be a thing of the past the way we have them today. The way he said is that they were full of lies, theft, dishonor is the word my guys are using, fake things, deception, those types of things, which for those of you waking up, a lot of you probably already realize that. And if you have not realized that, that is the history of museums. It's not even a subjective like, oh, is that the case? No, it's like documented. It is very documented. And I mean, if you don't believe they're being deceptive, you can just look into the history that they steal everything from everybody and put it and decide to like, oh, we claim it now, it's ours, and it can go into a space. Never trust a thief type of thing. So we have these places that are museums, and he started calling them unity centers. He's saying, I was trying to think of what the word was, and I couldn't remember. And they're saying unity centers or unified centers, and what that means is like they're like mention this. So it's not like a post-apocalyptic type of thing, because I think in Hunger Games and some of the other storytelling, you have unity centers that are not actually what they're meant to be. They're actually very traumatic spaces, but this is not the case. These are collections of unity, collections of unified consciousness, collections of unified energy, collections of unity and explaining unity to others and sharing that with others, but from a willful space, meaning things weren't taken, things weren't stolen, things weren't taken from graves or tombs or cultures or all of that they will shift. Things will go back. What they're saying is things will go back to the way, not to the way, but to the people that they belong to. So at some point, humanity will wake up enough and be like, oh, wow, that, hey, Native American, Indigenous American, whichever labels you use, these are going back to you. We took all this stuff and you still exist today. It's not like we have stuff in museums from people that were taken, not gifted, that were taken, and those people still exist today. They're not even long dead or anything, so that those things will go back to their rightful owners, essentially. I don't know about the things with the dead. They'll go back to their rightful states and countries, is what one of my guides is saying, that they will go back to their rightful locations, rightful spaces. And then what will happen is museums will become a thing of the past because they're just created for means of control, different scenarios, and different monetary corruption scenarios. That if you see me looking, it's because there's something over in the bushes moving around. I'm not sure what it is. Probably some big lizard. But so museums will shift into this thing called a unity center or unified center, something of that nature, where we as a collective say, oh, hey, we would like to share this. They're showing me mummies for some reason. So Egyptian mummies are a good example of something that would be in this space. We typically only see them in museums. Actually, I don't even know if you can see them anywhere else. And that would be an example of, say, that stuff goes back to Egypt or wherever it came from, because they're not exclusive to Egypt, but say Egypt gains those pieces, or what's another good one, guides? Crystals. There's something about the crystal skulls and other crystals and tablets and scrolls going excuse me, going back to their original owners. And when those get back to their original owners, the collective going, hey, we want to have something like that in LA, New York, Chicago, Cleveland, wherever it is. Can we display that at our location, and it being a collective agreement from the people that originally owned it, which the Native Americans are a big one, because they're still around. And so, like, imagine all of their stuff from all the museums from all over the world that were ever taken going back to the people that it belongs to, and then having to create new spaces where you go to those cultures and go, hey, we want to preserve your culture. Will you give us X, Y, or Z? Will you let us have that to display, so that it's not just hidden to your people, but that others can see it too and understand the culture more? And that's kind of what will happen, is it'll come to a collective agreement versus a very few people deciding what actually goes into a museum. And they're saying, they want me to say it, and artwork too, because when with museums and artwork, a lot of the artwork in museums there's a lot of stuff around the artwork in museums, but that the artwork would go away, and that true artwork, energetic artwork, creative artwork, the things that do not get into museums because of the people they know, or because of money, or because of manipulation. A lot of things that are in these spaces that are modern are there because of the ability to have networked with the museums. It will no longer be that way. It will shift into a true collective of, this is energetically deserving of being in this space. And because it's energetically deserving, then the collective needs to see it on a wide scale. Not, this is deserving because we say it's deserving. That's the difference. Is right now museums are telling you, this is what you deserve to see. This is what you need to see. This is what's important. There are two squirrels running by right now playing. They're like, this is what's important, and this is what we're going to show you, and nothing else matters. This is what you get. The reverse of that is going, and typically money is involved in that. Like people donating, wealthy donors, it all comes back to the wealth and the rich and all that. But in the new space, it will be, you deserve and need to see this because it is energetically important for people to understand and see this. And society granted it, and it was gifted, and it was not just taken, stolen, forced in, or has some other means behind it. I mean, you walk into a museum, if you're energetically aligned, you can feel I went to a museum about 8 months ago, a year ago, and I could feel the energy coming off of the different pieces, where it was like that was stolen, and the plaque that they have there that says it means that actually doesn't mean that. There's a lot of deceptive descriptions. There's a lot of descriptions that aren't actually understood too, that just they simply don't have the awareness, and they're like, oh, it means this because we say it does, when that's not the case. And those sorts of things. So that entire community is going to shift. So we went to Winston, the vegan, who has a big thing on that, as I do too, which is something we aligned on. So if you have any questions, let me know. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm grateful for you all. And if you like these videos and wish to support me, you can do so at awakenwithwillow.com. Again, that was Winston from the Collective of Watchers, and we have one more from the Collective that I'm going to share with you next. Thank you all. Grateful for each and every one of you.